Hello and welcome to CGTN. I'm Xinmeng, and with me is our special guest, Professor Liu Baocheng from the University of International Business and Economics. Well, Professor Liu, thank you for being with us.
Yes, it's a pleasure.
So, Real Time China is a special program of CGTN to mark the 40th anniversary of China's reform and opening up. We'd like to show you a panoramic view of China and also what is really happening in China. So we are on a 10-day tour to travel around the cities that have played an crucial role in the reform and opening up process. So we started from Beijing yesterday and we'll go all the way down to South China's Shenzhen city. And we just visited Xiong'an New area this morning, and now we are arriving at Baoding in Hebei province. So Professor Liu, we know Baoding has a very long history, over 3,000 years.
3,000 years.
Yeah, and it's very important to China. So it has a long history and it has so many movements and figures. So you're from Hebei province. Let's go this way. Yeah, let's see a little bit of the Baoding streets. So tell us more about Baoding.
Well, actually, from the ancient times, our ancestor Yao was born here, and that really was the incarnation of the Chinese civilization. And Baoding has played a very important role in the cultural heritage and also in contributing now to the modernization program of China. If we go back to the institutional setting, the Ming dynasty set up the governance office, and then the Qing dynasty further entrenched its role, and it has been serving as the capital twice for the new China of the Hebei province.
Yeah.
And now Baoding is now striking a very delicate balance between preserving the cultural legacy and in the meantime to go for modernization, urbanization, and also for further innovation.
Yes, because I know Baoding is the first innovation-driven development demonstration city in China.
That's right.
And it has the largest number of the tech companies in Hebei province, right?
That's right. It's really identified with very much the two strong features. Number one is the innovation-driven. A lot of incubators have flocked here for the new tech-driven companies, and in the meantime, it is also an eco-city that is being designated by the central government. So we are trying to introduce the environmentally friendly management tech expertise here, and right now, with the further integration between Tianjin, Beijing, and Hebei province, they are really in the axle role to play. So now the gigantic program of Xinmeng, because the Baoding administratively is actually overarching this entire picture of the Xinmeng new birth. So therefore, they are there to have high expectations to embrace what is in store in the future. But to look into the future, nothing is more predictable than to look back into the history. Actually,
so how is this started?
Actually, the people have a very strong sense in this area to respect the Baoding, because in the modern history, Baoding played such an important role in that. It is the beginning of the, actually it's a starting point for the Boxer Revolution, rebellion. There can be different critical ideas over this one, but this is a very strong movement that shows a very strong xenophobia against Westernization, but to be followed by the Westernization campaign, and this campaign really awakened China to embrace foreign technology, foreign the structure of modern management, and so that really sent a very strong ideological message to China that we should not be content with only the historical heritage. We must go in synchronize with the development of the entire world.
Absolutely. So speaking of the westernization movement, there's a very important historical figure, Li Hongzhang. He is an important minister of the late Qing dynasty, and
That's
he's
right.
also the founder and one of the leaders of the westernization. Do you know his story?
Yes, he started with the he started with the entire westernization program. He won all the trust and empowerment from Dowager, who was the leader, of the Qing dynasty. And he was born actually at a very difficult time, because when China was beaten up during the two opium wars, and he has to be there representing the Qing government to sign a number of treaties of humiliation. So that was really the beginning of the century humiliation in Chinese modern history. But in the meantime, he was filled also with a very strong passion to modernize China, and because he knows what is really going on in the world, and he noticed the gap between the Qing dynasty China with the Western world. So therefore he was trying to build a regime and a mechanism, and he was also lobbying to the stubborn Qing government to support the imports of foreign equipments and technology, and also he was also there help to raise the talent of China to be able to master the new technology, etc., etc. So he was a figure of much of a controversy, but we have to notice that he was born and he was exercising his capacity during that particular period of historical time. So therefore, excessive blame doesn't really help, but rather to appreciate the situation, and also to see that where China can go to really to move onto the global leadership with further modernization.
Yes, exactly. So there are multiple variety of views about him, but anyways, he paved the road for us. And Baoding has also become an excellent tourist city because of the Zhili governor's office. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That's right. The Zhili government was a institutional setting by the Ming dynasty.
Yes.
And then it was further improved and well structured during the Qing dynasty. So it played a very important role. Number one is that it is administration for both the civil affairs and military affairs.
Yes.
And then it also served as a strong defense and buffer for the capital city of Beijing. And then another importance lies in the fact that the entire Hebei province, where the Baoding served the center, is also a source of supply for the Beijing capital in terms of the grain, in terms of vegetables, in terms of the other military supplies. So therefore, the governor here, they are given the very ostentatious and very well structured residential place and the office place is there to show that the Beijing government pays a very special attention to its status and to its role to support Beijing.
Yeah, so Baoding was the capital city of the then Zhili province. And so the Zhili Governor General's office, it witnessed 8 emperors' reign from Yongzheng to Xuantong. So a lot of people say it is the miniature of the Qing dynasty. Right?
That's right. So actually the governor has a very high rank within the central government of the Qing. So they are there to not only to support, but also to bring a lot of information, a lot of resources in support of the government in the central places. And then they produce a lot of famous figures from Deng Guofan to Li Hongzhang you mentioned, and these governors are very well educated, and also they have a very strong sense to support a stronger China, and knowing that the weakness will continue to receive humiliation from the Western world.
Oh, have you been there before?
Yes, so I visited these places because I was born beside this grand city. So people in this region have paid very high respect. We still consider actually this is the center of the entire northern China area.
Yes, very important role. So we actually have a reporter, Ning Hong, who's right there at the Zhili governor's office. So let's turn to him to give us more details about the Zhili governor's office. Ning Hong.
Hi, welcome to watch CGTN's live streaming, and we're now in Baoding of Hebei province, and this is a cultural relic and very famous in China, and we're going to introduce it to you today. And if you look this way, the name of this place is called the Governor Office of Zhili, and we're now entering the Zhili office so far. And in history, the Zhili office is a very famous region covering a very, very wide area. It covers the regions including today's Beijing, Tianjin, and a part of Shandong, Henan, and Shanxi provinces. And this place was originally built in Yuan dynasty, that's in 15th century. And it was during the year of 1729, it has become a governor's office of Zhili, while the area of this office covers 30,000 square meters, and it is a very large office. And what you are seeing now is the second gate of this office, and it's called Yimeng in Chinese. Well, this gate is where the host will welcome the guests, and normally officials visiting this place will go through the central door, but for lower rank office officials, and they could only go through the side doors. For civil officials, went through the east door. That's on that's on the right side. And for military officers, and they go through the west door. And now, so you're entering the yard. And this yard, in the middle of this yard, you can see there are many trees here. And we're told that most of these trees are over 500 years old. This place was originally built in Yuan dynasty. That's between 14th to 16th century. And it's been government offices through the Ming and the Qing dynasty. And what you're seeing now is actually an archway. It's very common. It's very common in old China, in China in the past, that the government buildings will normally have this kind of archway. And in the middle, there are three Chinese characters. In Chinese, it's called Gong Sheng Ming, and in English, it means justice brings light. And they're written by Huang Tingjian, a famous calligrapher of the Song dynasty. And its northern side. If we go, what you're seeing now is elves, because in the past there are many elves living here, but now it's rare to see one so far. These trees are over 500 years old, and we're now live in the Zhili governor's office. So if you have any questions, please leave a message on our platform, social network platform, and we would like to answer it for you. And now we are moving into the yard in front of this main hall, and this is the main hall of the governor's office. and it is a place to hold major events here. It's called the Great Hall. Well, it has 5 rooms, also with the roof of the middle street stick out without walls. And it was this building was built early Ming Dynasty. It has been the main hall of the Zhili Governor General's office. Well, normally, this is where the governor meet with important guests, so it will not be often used. What you see now, the building has been intact through history. So what you are seeing now, these buildings are the original ones, except for the furnitures inside the hall. During its 183-year history, there has been 99 governors. You could find that the change of governors have been really quickly, because this is a very important place, and whoever was named as the governor will have a very powerful rights. And well, you can see these signs here. These are the owners of the governor, and you can see it's named. It was given by the emperor, and whenever a governor is paying a visit to other places, people will carry these signs to show that his owners. These are the owners of the governor. And this is given by local people. Whenever a governor is leaving this place, and you can see all those characters, those are the names of local people. And if a governor is doing something good for this place, and when he is leaving, the local people, the local landlords would give something like this. It was called the umbrella of 1,000 people. Yeah, this is the one. And this is the desk of the governor. And on this side, you can see this is not the honor of the governor. This is the right, the power. This represents the power of the governor. Well, among these signs, there are. It indicates that the governor has the right to deploy troops and to supervise military affairs, and also to appoint, to nominate governors of other provinces, and also to manage rivers and also the transportation of salts. Those are very important roles in the history of China. And this is the wagon, the governor, if he's going out. This is the wagon. So this is the central hall. And we're now moving to the next part, the second hall. In the past, lower rank officials would often come to this place. They have to go to the side door, just like what I'm doing now. Now we're entering another yard behind the great hall. This is the second hall. This is where the governor would. This is actually the office of the governor. Normally he will meet important guests in the front hall. But normally, whenever he's working here inside this building. This place is called the second hall. It has a five bay house. You know, he will discuss businesses and also receive cases here in the government office. Government office days, and normally it will be every 5th and 10th days of the lunar month in China. You can see that this is where the governor meets with to handle cases, and the wood carving behind him represents the civil officials. And on both sides is where he meets with guests. All these furnitures are replicants, but all these the buildings, like the doors and also the roof, are the original ones. They have been here for several hundred years. And now we are moving out of the second hall. This is the gate separate the office with his family, because we are now moving into the inner chambers. This is where the family of the governors used to live. You can see this is a quite large yard, and in the past, the families of the governor would follow him to whenever he will be working. And however, they're not allowed to interfere with their jobs and interfere with their duties, so they're not allowed to go out of this place through the main gate. So if they're going out, they have to go use the side gate. Well, now you're inside the third hall. Well, the official residence of a 5-bay house, and its middle room served as a corridor, and the 2 rooms to the east were the inner signature room, where the Governor General examine and approve official papers and handle day-to-day work. And the west chamber was the Governor General's study. Yeah. And you're seeing now is the inner signature room, where the Governor General examine and approve the official papers and handle day-to-day work. And out of his office, in front of us, it is the 4th hall. This is the last yard of this office here. You can see that it is built on a central exit. The office covers about 30,000 square meters. It is not a very large one compared with the right of the governor. That's because the governor here is trying to keep a low profile, because he has too many powers and often has a huge pressure, especially when in this place very close to the emperor. And this is the 4th hall. The 4th hall, also called the main room facing south, it is also a 5-bay house too, and this is where the governor and his family lives. There are many famous governors used to work here in China's history, including Li Hongjiang and Zheng Guofan. They are very famous and powerful people during the Qing dynasty. This is the chamber of the governor's family. This place has been the Zhili governor's office for over 100 years. And during that time, 99 governors has been working here. Some of them only spent a few months as governor, and there are few of them have spent have been governor for over 10 years. It is very rare that someone could spend 10 years' time working here as a governor. This is where governor works and lives. This office is actually the only well-preserved provincial government office in China. And the reason why it is preserved during the history, especially during the turbulent time, is because it has been used as the government office from time to ever since then. And also, this place is almost intact in history of China. And because, well, it has been used for government office, it has been well protected. But you could see that this place is actually the governor is very powerful in Chinese history. His authority could mobilize forces, and he also managed domestic affairs and even international affairs. However, this place is very keeping a low profile. That's because, for example, well, it is only 30,000 square meters. It's actually a very small place for people who was nominated by central offices, central governments, by the emperor himself. So, but at the same time, even a county office is larger than this one. So that reflects the concepts and also the ideas of how the government officials working for the emperor, their idea about ruling and behaving. You could find that this place is built on the central axis. It is a small place, but a small place doesn't mean irrelevant place. Yeah, so that's for today's live streaming, and I hope you like it. If you have a chance, you could pay the visit here.